Hi there, it's Quilting Nerd. Today's second installment in quilting my scrappy project, and we will start today from quilting the scrappy blocks. Actually, I will have very similar strategy for quilting all of them, and in this case what I will do is I will select a specific patch and I will just use straight lines to echo this shape from this one patch all across the block, and I will use relatively neutral thread to do that. And in this case I will just trying to think I think the triangular one will be the most significant one to show you. So let me pull the thread. So in the case of the patchy blocks, they have already enough character. They do not need anything extra from the quilting thread. So let me actually switch off the light again. Will be probably better visible. Let's see. No, it's always difficult to choose. So what I will start with is I will start with quilting the shape of the patch I selected. I have to put some light on. And I will just echo the shape all around. You can already see I'm hitting the edge of the block, which will make the shape even more interesting because it is interrupted. So it will lead, it will force people that will look at it to follow the shape even more. Bit more. We can now reverse in case we do not want to travel. I'll repeat that in the same location. And you can see here we will be already separating the shapes. And we can finish just with lines. One section at a time. So it is a very contrasting strategy, especially in comparison to the previously quilted blocks. And despite the fact that all the blocks, patched blocks, the scrappy blocks, will be quilted with similar strategy, because of the position and the shape of the patch I am choosing for the echoing, there will be an extra dynamics in the quilting. So the blocks will be similar. I am not taking away anything from the scrappy character of the block, but still the blocks will be quilted slightly differently. And because of this, that I'm using very pale and relatively harmonizing threads, but this thread is blending in with the fabrics. It's just the texture that will distract a little bit from the everything else. So it's just like having an excellent meal with excellent ingredients, but we are not really taking anything away from the main character. The spices are just to enhance the natural taste and not to dominate it. I'm actually thinking not to quilt the triangle in the middle. I will still defer the decision to the end. I will compare it with the others, and then I will decide at the very end if I will come back here and quilt the triangle in the middle, or I will leave it as it is. Now let's just finish the corner. I just noticed I'm not wearing any gloves right now, and sometimes if the quilt is not very large and I'm working with a roller, then I can get away with it. But of course, quilting with gloves is much easier on the hands and on the shoulders. All about quilting the parallel lines right now. That would be the block number 1. It's very simple ruler quilting, and here we can see. So again, I will switch off the light because then with the light from the background, from the window, you can see actually the very nice texture play here. And for now, I will leave this part here unquilted. I will decide at the end. Now you can see also the nice contrast between this dominant quilting in the background and this very subdued quilting in the block, but the block is strong enough. It does not need any enhancement from the quilting side besides the shape play. Now, in this case, I will go with the element in the corner. So I will just, probably I will reduce the size a little bit here, and then I will just echo this shape all across the block. And in this case, I will go with the nice shape here. It's almost like a rectangle here. I will also reduce the shape of the quilting, so I will start somewhere here in the middle, and then I will just repeat the shape all over the block. Let me do that, and I will show you how it looks like when it's done, because I mean this is a simple roller quilting and you've seen already the process here. So scrappy blocks are quilted. You can see here we have just echoed the shape, one selected shape all over the block, and it gives us a very nice kind of an interrupted pattern here. The same I did here. That was my element I decided to echo all over the block, and in this case this is what you've seen. That was the triangle one. Now what we will do with the rest of the quilt to complete it. So of course there will be tons of background pattern, but before I will do that, I will use those 4 colors, something very strong and contrasty, and I will add some little elements scattered within the free spaces, simulating scraps of fabric laying around. So actually maybe I will try, I wanted first to do the straight edge of the ruler, but maybe I will just add something a bit more irregular with free motion quilting, just to add like an impression that all of it is built from scraps, and there are some scraps laying around here, not used still. So let's see what I can create still here. Probably I will add like 4 or 5 different elements of different colors and with different patterns, and the rest will be filled with I will probably use this gray as a background quilting pattern. We will start with red. Let's fill it with nice swirls. that would be the color number 1, the patch number 1. Now we can take a nice green here, and we will do something like a longer strip. It's like all the scraps that are laying around. Most of them are a bit more chunky. Some are tiny. I like the scraps that are like crumbs. It takes a long time to combine them, but there is always some surprising elements there. So sometimes it's worth the effort. So now let's do some elongated structure. Doesn't have to be like with straight edge. Doesn't have to be parallel. It can be looking like this. It's all about scrappiness. So here, because we already, let's bring some arches, nested arches. Okay, that would be the second element. It's a very rainy and dark day today, and I have problems with lightning. So we have this, and let's add some orange here. with the last echo, simply to feel the form. Okay, let's feel the odd space here, and let's move to the last area here, which is not filled, and for that I can of course stop, cut the thread and move, or I can travel. I don't mind accumulating of the thread, you know that, especially when I do contrasting thread. I want those elements to stand out as much as I can. So now we have like 3 pieces of fabric floating around, and we still have some space here, and we wanted to use this nice blue. That would be the last one. And then what we have left, it's the background. We have nice trapezoidal shape, very irregular one. It's actually not a trapezoid because nothing here is parallel, but here I would simply go for a nice feather that will help me to feel all of it. Now remember, we have to go back on the outside. Much easier to quilt those plumes. Took me a long time to understand the principle of such feathers, and the trick is simply to stay on the outside of the curve. something neutral and very, very peaceful for the background. And I decided to go with this nice gray. So it's slightly this bluish gray, not the other gray. And let me still see how it will look like against, actually there is hardly any difference. So I will go with this one. And I just have to think for a moment, what kind of pattern do I want to add? So we have a nice mixture because we have the squares and the geometrical forms of the random fabric scrap elements. But still the whole quilt is dominated by strong geometrical forms. So we need some kind of contrast with that. And with this kind of color, I think we can go just with extended swirls, because it will give us some nice contrast in texture, and it will give us also very uniform texture. So what I will only do as a preparation, I will add thin echoline around each of the elements, besides these ones, because these ones are distinct enough, but also here. And the rest I will fill with the extended swirl. So let me do the framing, because this is kind of less interesting, or maybe I will just show you an example here, because here I have lots of connected elements. And then at the end I will show you the process of quilting of the extended swirls, especially in the tight spaces here and in the odd spaces. So then we have this. Let's add us 1/4 of an inch of echoline around our quilted elements, simply to separate them a little bit better from the rest, from the background. And here, for example, we'll have a nice overlap, so we can just combine those two together. So I really right now hope it will look good. I have no idea. I like sometimes surprising me. At this stage, I am just trying to figure out what the project needs and fill the gaps. So this is what I meant by adding an echoline around. So now I have to stop because I have to move to another element. So I will work my way around the quilt, and I will tune back in when I will be quilting the background. All elements are echoed, so we can start quilting the background. So I thought what I will do is tons of wavy lines with some gentle extended swirls, tons of echo lines. So lots of dynamics here. I will be working my way around here, echoing as much as I can, adding wavy lines. At the same time, I want to pay attention and feel all the odd spaces that I have here, because that will save me time in case I will miss something here. For example, I can just add some nice S-curves and wavy lines to fill this space. It's all the same kind of family of pattern. And I just want to have a regular spacing here. I am really aiming for right now here, it's something more amorphous and not so distracting from the other colorful elements, and because it will be such a uniform and similar pattern, it should disappear and more as it accumulates. So I hope that's at least my goal. So I will just fill it with this semi-similar structures and shapes. Everything is very fluid. It's a very nice, relaxing pattern. So now we have the narrow strip here, which is kind of we have here some seam lines. So now the bobbin is finally done. It's a good moment to stop. And I will refill it and I will go on with the quilting, and I will show you how it looks like when it's done. So that's the end of the project. The scrappy quilt is quilted and you can see the different effects I had. So I have the simulated blocks that I quilted, so let me pull it more to the light. There are the blocks that are quilted, scrappy blocks that are just quilted with lines, where I have some elements used for echoing. The best effect is shown here. And I have just wavy extended swirls kind of background quilting done. It is a little bit more subdued than I wanted. It all depends on the light where it hangs or it will be placed. I still have to add some binding, but all in all it was a great exercise with a bit less dense quilting and more of the scrappy blocks. You can use it and create wonderful modern quilt for your bed. And I showed an example in the video for my other channel. As I said, there are also the details on the sewing of the scrappy blocks, which is just using whatever you have in your hand. I hope you liked it. I hope you liked the quilting, and see you soon in the next video. Bye.